Last year, more than 600 Mainers lost their lives to substance overdose. This leaves a lot of grief and trauma in our local communities, and that's why Healthy Acadia wants to provide a safe space for those in need on International Overdose Awareness Day. August 31st of every year, Healthy Acadia's Inspire Recovery Center in Ellsworth hosts a remembrance event honoring lives and supporting families and friends. A display of 607 silk roses are on display at Knowlton Park, symbolizing each life lost last year. The Recovery Center manager said she hopes it helps people understand substance use disorder targets no working class, race, or gender. It can happen to anyone, which is why events like this upcoming one are so important.
Overdose Awareness Day is just as much about supporting the people that lost somebody and the people who are still here who are trying to recover as it is about the life lost, because, you know, there's hope. I think it's just really important to keep in mind that while it's Overdose Awareness Day and it's a somber thing and it's a heavy thing, that there's hope.
The event will take place at Inspire Recovery Center beginning at 5 p.m. There will be a candlelight vigil, guest speaker with a powerful story, and an opportunity for anyone to sign up for services if needed. They will also have essential harm reduction materials on site. For more information on the event and services the Recovery Center offers, you can find that link on our website in mobile.